Hey, what's going on YouTube? In this episode, Chad Fixes All, we're going to be replacing the brake caliper on this 2012 Chevy Cruze. Let's get to it. So a little recap on why we're actually replacing the brake caliper on this Cruze. So I was driving one day and I noticed a lot of noise coming from the rear end, almost like a scraping kind of noise. And I ended up getting out of the vehicle and looking at the right rear wheel and noticed a bunch of smoke coming out of the wheel well. And I've been noticing a little bit of performance issues too, where it seemed like I wasn't accelerating or maintaining speed as much as I should be. So it would contribute to it like a dragging brake caliper, which is actually what was happening. So the right rear wheel was very hot, it was smoking, and it just wasn't in a good condition. I honestly knew right away it was brake caliper. So we're going to go ahead and jack up the vehicle, get the wheel off. We'll take a look at the wheel. There's tons of brake dust all over it. So let's go ahead and get started on that and get that wheel off. So you can see all this excessive brake dust on this tire and wheel. That is from the brake pad always engaged. Like I said, this thing heated up a lot. It was like up to 400 degrees where all my other brakes, when I stopped, were around 100 degrees. So this thing got really hot, and yeah, we're gonna want to, like I said, change out that caliper and look at everything else and get new brake pads. But let's go ahead and get to it. Now with the wheel off, we can get a closer view of the damage that all this excessive heat from the stuck caliper has done. You can see around my rotor a lot of white flakiness. That is actually like the excessive heat actually heating up the rotor so much it's creating all that. It flakes right off for the most part, but you can tell how badly it actually got to it. And then over here, I mean, you can't even move this thing. It's locked up so bad. So the brake caliper, actually, these were painted, and they did get a little bit hot, so you can see some like charring and stuff like that on them. But the actual handbrake mechanism back there, I was fiddling with it. It feels great. They're not locked up or anything like that. So it just comes down to probably a stuck caliper, and we'll just kind of have to take this off and see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and start taking off the brake caliper and brake caliper bracket. So we'll go ahead and start on the top. The top one is a 10 millimeter. The bottom one is a 13 millimeter, at least on mine. Has this little mechanism on the back, almost looks like a counterbalance or a weight. There's a better look of what that actually looks like there. Now let's go ahead and take our screwdriver and wedge it in here. It's actually coming off a little easier than I thought it was going to. And there we go. You can see that caliper piston is extended all the way out. So we're just going to go ahead and set this up off to the side. Kind of let it sit but rest where it's not going to get the hose in a kink. So next we're going to want to take out our brake pads. And you can see there is no brake pad left. This thing literally tore these apart. Nothing. Same for the other side. At least it was braking consistently though. I mean, a lot of even wear and everything like that, so that's cool, I guess. So next, I guess we'll go ahead and start taking off the bracket. So there are two bolts for the caliper bracket, one on top, one on the bottom. I'm going to use our 15 millimeter and a breaker bar to break these loose. There you go, there's the second one out, and the brake caliper bracket fell to the ground. There's the caliper bracket right there. Now, I know some of you are thinking, hey, are you going to replace the rotor? And yes, I am going to replace the rotor. I just can't do it right this second, but I do need to get this vehicle back on the road. So I'm going to go ahead and use this rotor for the time being while I get the new rotor placed. This isn't just a rotor I can buy from AutoZone or Advance Auto or anything like that. I have to actually order it online, and it takes a couple days for shipping. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw the brake pads and new caliper back on, or new brake pads, new caliper on, and run it for a couple days until I get the new brake rotor. So let's go ahead and get the new bracket and let's get that installed. So this is our replacement brake caliper. I will have a link in the description to the new replacement brake caliper, the brake pads. Also add like a couple rotors or anything like that, just in case you're doing your job too. You want to replace your rotors at the same time. This brake caliper and this actually came with the bracket is all inclusive, so it comes with everything you need. So it got new shims. Then, as I said, it's the loaded brake caliper. So we got the brake caliper bracket, everything needed to actually install this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and paint this because I want to get it nice and looking good like my other ones are, and I'm going to have to clean it off real quick. One thing I really like seeing is this is a GM, so it's a factory GM replacement, just been rebuilt before. So we're going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to paint this off camera, and we'll get this bracket installed again. Alright, I went ahead and went through and painted up the caliper bracket, so let's go ahead and reinstall that. Alright, the caliper bracket is now on. Those two bolts are tightened up. I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape from my painting here real quick. Alright, now we need to go ahead and get the cable for the emergency brake off of the old caliper. And also, we might want to break loose this bolt right here real quick. We are not going to totally take off the hose yet because we want just a quick change and replacement onto the new caliper. So we're just going to bust it loose. We're going to take this loose, and we also have to slide it out of this little sheath right here. It looks like it's pressed in with two little like clips. So we'll do this piece first, and then we'll do the clips, and then do the bolt. Alright, I went ahead and got this loose. Hopefully you can see that on camera. But I was able to use a pair of pliers to get a hold of that up top and to pull that out of the hole, and then was able to use the alligator clips to be pushed down by pliers and take those out. So I'm going to bust this bolt loose now, and then we'll get the new caliper over here. There we go. Got it busted loose now. Now just tighten it back up a little bit. That we can get it off in a little bit. Alright, next we're going to put on the shims onto the brake caliper bracket. My brake caliper and brake caliper bracket came with new shims, so I'm going to use the ones that were supplied. And now I'm going to use Permatex Ceramic Extreme Brake Parts Lubricant. Really like this stuff. Again, link in the description. Next, we'll take our new brake pads and we're going to install those onto the brake caliper bracket into the shims. Alright, now with the brake pads installed, we can go ahead and take our new painted caliper, and we'll go ahead and install that onto it. I'm going to be reusing the old hardware for the bottom one. Now I'm just going to snug them up with my fingers, and then we're going to go ahead and work on the caliper here. So on the back side of this new caliper, you can see where I have this tape. I'm going to take this off. This is where the new banjo bolt is. And if I take that off, we're going to have the two copper O-rings there. The two copper O-rings, the brake hose, it goes in between them, and it bolts up to the caliper. So we're going to go ahead and take loose this brake hose and get the copper rings off this old one, and then we're going to put this onto the new one. Get a nice tight feel. You don't want to go too much and strip out the hole, but nice and tight. Now we can go ahead and hook up our e-brake cable, same way that you took it off. Now this is the reason I only snug these up with my fingers. I'm going to take this back off to try to put the e-brake on a little bit easier with everything off. There you go. Sure enough, that was a lot easier than doing it down there. And then now we can put this back on. And there we go. That caliper is brand new, back on, and ready to go. Only thing we left to do is to bleed the brakes, but there are tons of videos out there that can teach you how to bleed brakes. I will go ahead and leave that to them. And you can also, like I said, hit all the links in the description to get the new caliper, get the new brakes, get the lube, everything you need to do this job yourself. But yeah, make sure you bleed those brakes. Until next time, this is Chad Williams Fixes All. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel in this video, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.